Dean McGill, distinguished faculty and staff, among the best in the world, our loving families who are here and those watching us from afar, our friends who are family, fellow graduates, JDs, JSMs, you know you want that, JSDs and LLMs, collectively referred to hereinafter as the rock stars of the class of 2018. Welcome and good morning. Please brace yourselves for a lot of references about food, the kind that we have cooked in our homes for the past 10 months. I hope you found them delicious, as we'll be collecting payments later for food consumed since September. Seriously, how do you capture into minutes of spoken words a part of our lives that was so etched into memory, shared with awe-inspiring people from 33 countries and speaking 21 languages and more if you count dialects? How do you capture 10 months of engaging discussions on the various exquisite teas over quiet and melodious rhapsody of the Japanese tea ceremony with Chinese or Taiwanese tea leaves? Or reflections over classmates' family traditions and history, some as old as 1,000 years, over hot and spicy Korean ramyeon noodles? Or the limitless fun nights of singing over karaoke, not without its bickering on who ought to have the mic next because their song is still number 8 on the queue? Or the dancing, Fiesta Latina style, parts 1, 2, and 3. How do you capture months of seemingly ordinary meal times and culinary adventures with home-cooked North African delights one day, to Thai basil chicken the next, to Indian curries, to Chinese dumplings, to Singaporean chicken rice? The list could go on. And all these downed with the best pisco in the world. Chilean or Peruvian? That still remains controversial. Or downed with, as the Europeans would have it, any European wine. How do you capture the many memories shared with people you thought were once strangers, but now have become your family? There is simply nothing like it. I tried to be poetic about it, go somewhere, face nothing but the vastness of the Pacific Ocean, but words did not seem to flow easily. Nothing. I went some other place, surrounded by trees, to organize my thoughts. Nada. One very early morning, I decided to go alone around campus, around Crown Library, and I understood why I could not put something into words at any other place. I had to be at a place where, for us, time stood still, committing 10 months of it when we forgot all worries from our home countries or how much we miss our loved ones, and where the warmest of memories were made and shared with you, rock stars of the class of 2018. Many amazing stories have already been told and enshrined in the history of this university, one of the best universities in the world with a top-tier law school. But the school, the physical structure, while one of the most beautiful campuses I have ever been, is just that, physical structure. Stripped off of its students biking around, studying under the California sun, laughing or engaging in deep conversations about religion, cultural differences, legal traditions, to the seemingly mundane question of where to have our next meal outside of the usual Tresidder or meal plan fare. It simply is a collection of buildings with well-manicured lawns, physically beautiful but empty, no soul. To me, what gives this university its soul is the people and the relationships, not just networks, that were built that made this experience nothing short of our favorite overused descriptive word: amazing. At the outset, we knew we only have 10 precious months together. Because of the short time we knew we could spend together, something wonderful was bound to happen. No time ought to be wasted. I'd like to call it, in all childlike wonder, magic. Magic not in the sense of turning ribbons into bunnies, but that sense of magic that we feel when we fall in love, not necessarily in a romantic way. It's the kind of falling in love when new worlds are open to us as we also open our own to others. As we build new friendships with people with vastly different culture from the one we are accustomed to, and nurture them as much as we can, with as much as we can muster to give, with time spent over what must have already been hundreds of cups of coffee, hundreds of kilos of barbecuables, thousands of miles spent on road trips, or air miles flown crossing the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Mediterranean, and across the Americas during term breaks. If that is not the beauty of diversity, I don't know what is. If magic is not what happens when we take inclusion of various cultures as a natural course of things, I do not know what will. So many things have happened in 10 months. Babies were born, congratulations. Degrees are earned, congratulations more. And 60 kilos of rolled pork bellies were roasted. Congratulations for the weight gain. We acknowledge we could not have accomplished much by ourselves. It takes a village to understand living with someone in the legal profession. With that, I wish to honor, on behalf of the rock stars of the class of 2018, our parents, partners and spouses and friends who are family. To our spouses and partners who cross the Pacific, my husband nonetheless, the Atlantic from east to west coast almost on a monthly basis, or the spouses and partners who took a year-long leave at their jobs to support their not necessarily better halves, or the spouses and partners who at the same time took their own graduate studies in other law schools and had to commute an hour or so every day to the other law school, or traverse the East Coast school to the West Coast almost every month, just so you could show your support to your spouse. Thank you. Thank you for everything. It also takes a village to nurture someone who attempts to enter or to stay in the legal profession. With that, I wish to honor, on behalf of the rock stars of the class of 2018, our highly esteemed professors. You may have no idea how we, every time access is open for class registration, are in nothing short of agony when choosing classes to take for the quarter. Almost always we'd end up 25, 30 units per quarter in our initial study plans, in between moments of quiet reflection whether to register for the maximum and even beyond what is permitted, and hope for the best to still have a life outside the classroom. We are grateful of how accommodating our professors are when we reach out to them to speak of a new idea, a new project, or simply to chat about anything over cookies in your offices or buffet spreads in your most lovely homes. Most especially, I also wish to honor our advanced degree program directors and teaching fellows. Most of us are from the outside of the US, navigating the intricacies of a legal education system that may not be at all familiar to some of us. Yet, you guided us in every step of the way in our studies and even went beyond the call of duty to extend your personal care for our well-being. Thank you very much. I end with much sadness, knowing that this will be the last time we may see each other in one place together. Some of you are already leaving next week because of the World Cup. At the risk of any copyright infringement, let me end with a little something from Miss Morissette. Well, life has a funny way of sneaking up on you when you think everything's okay and everything's going right. And life has a funnier way of helping you out when you think everything's gone wrong and everything blows up in your face. Things may not be the way you planned them to be today, but it will be tomorrow. Things may be how exactly you wanted them to be today. It may not be tomorrow. It's daytime today here in California. It's nighttime on the other side of the world. Your career or your plans may be slow to progress today, but you'll be surprised of its quick pace tomorrow. Respect your own pace in life, whether it be quick, slow, or in utter glorious stillness. And when you reach that stage, when you are in a position to give back and lift other people up, please do so without hesitation. We are remembered not so much by our accomplishments or by what we have set out in our CVs, but by how we let other people feel at that moment when they open their world to us. You'll be surprised how much you will receive in return in whatever form or substance. Be a giver. Be a giver of your time, of your resources, of your efforts, of a kind gesture, of compliments, of praise, of a smile. And give when it hurts, even when it hurts, despite that it hurts. You'll be surprised just how much you reap will certainly be more than what you have sown. And while you continue to figure out things on your way to be in that position, keep calm and rock on.
All right, what's up? Want to first of all start by thanking the faculty and staff. We are forever indebted to you, quite literally. There's so much debt. Like, you should look into that. It's just a lot. Dude, it is such an honor to be here at graduation, because I actually didn't want to graduate. I was talking to my friends before, you guys, my friends, and I was like, man, I could do another 3 years at Stanford easy. But then 3 weeks ago, I received an email from the registrar that said, hi, Omar, I did an audit of your graduation requirements, and you are 1 unit short of graduating. Best, the registrar. There was no PS. That was the end of the email. I'm like, there's got to be more to it than that. It can't be. And in the fear that I had that I might have to do another year, I decided I was ready to graduate. So this is a big moment, I guess, for you guys and for me also. And I think that I was thinking about my dad over 30 years ago. He had to graduate from his undergraduate school, Western Michigan University, in around 2.5 years. And his brother had to graduate in like 3 years with a master's. And they're incredibly poor. In between times at Western Michigan, they would go to Toronto to stay with their other brothers where they'd work at machine shops to try to make ends meet. And they were supposed to graduate that winter, and they didn't want to tell their family members about it because they didn't have enough money to afford to drive back to Kalamazoo for just a graduation. But my dad was really proud of his brother, and his brother was really proud of him. And they were like, all right, we have no money, but let's try to do this anyways. I still have access to my old office. I'll sleep on the desk, you sleep on the floor, let's do it. And so these two Pakistani guys with just a 76 gas station card, which you can only use at a 76 gas station for either peanuts or gas, decided to make the trek anyways to celebrate each other's graduation. And they went there, and it was the dead of winter in Michigan, and it was very cold, and their air conditioner and their heating stopped working. So they wrapped themselves in blankets, and were driving, basically. And they were so cold, and the windows were so fogged up that they had to stick their heads out of the window, like Ace Ventura style, in order to get anywhere. And finally, around Detroit, their car broke down. And it was a pretty rough neighborhood in Detroit, Detroit. And it was late at night. They had no money. They didn't even have a change to use the payphone. And so they panicked. But my Uncle Nader thought, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to call somebody collect using that phone book right there. And we'll just look for a Pakistani name. The way one does. And we can agree that this is not enough of a plan. So they looked through the phone book, and they looked for Khan, which is the most common name that they could think of. And they found a man named Shakir Khan. And so they called him with no particular plan in mind. And Shakir Khan answered. And my Uncle Nader was like, Shakir Khan, it's Nader and Ghazanfar Qureshi from Pakistan. Remember? And Shakir Khan was like, yeah, Nader and Ghazanfar Qureshi. And they're like, hey, our car broke down. We just happened to be in Detroit, long way from home. And would you come pick us up? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come pick you up. And so it's snowing in Detroit at the time. This man drives into Detroit, and he picks up my dad and my uncle. And he takes him back to his apartment. And he cooks them an amazing deal. He and his wife cook them an amazing dinner. They treat them like royalty. They're super kind, and they're really hitting it off. And Shakir Khan, as the night progressed, starts feeling guilty. And he's like, you guys are amazing, but I got to admit, I don't remember you from Pakistan. And my dad and uncle admitted that they lied. But they told him that the reason that they were doing this was because they were going to graduation. And Shakir Khan and his wife were so proud of them for what they'd achieved, so proud of them for sticking together through it all, that they offered their master bedroom, their only bedroom in the house, to them while they themselves slept in the living room. The next day, Shakir Khan took them to the mechanic, got their car repaired, gave them money, and wished them on their way. He said, I only ask for one thing in return. That is that when you arrive home, you call me so I know that you're safe. And to this day, they have never called that man. What kind of monsters are you people? How could... I was talking to my dad at dinner the other day. I'm like, Dad, don't you feel guilty? He was like, not until you just brought it up now. I didn't... So first, thank you, Shakir Khan, if you're still alive. God. But perhaps more relevantly, my dad and my uncle were younger people then than I am now. And I think it took a great deal of courage and love and respect for one another to even attempt the journey on behalf of each other, to keep working at a machine shop and enduring far greater than I've ever had to endure in my education to make this life for me. And all the strangers who helped along the way, giving them hope where it seemed like no hope could be found. And I know that in this crowd and the parents back there are thousands of other stories of incredible sacrifice, incredible care, of you prioritizing and enduring for your children and for your future. We would truly be nothing without you. And it's because of you that we're able to be here today, and we owe you everything. So please, a round of applause for the parents and family. So they've endured a lot. What about you guys? Not really. All right, look, none of my classmates want me to say this, but there is something that I have to admit. This is a great accomplishment, graduating from Stanford Law School, a tremendous accomplishment that was given to you by Faye Deal when she admitted you 3 years ago. It is hard to do well at Stanford Law School. It is really hard to fail at Stanford Law School. Dude, in order for these guys to fail us, they have to write a letter to the administration justifying their failure. Do you understand? These people have to do homework because we failed to do homework. It is an unbelievable feat. But that's the thing about Stanford Law, you know? We go through a lot. Like last weekend, Katie and Courtney, they threw us a yacht party. And like on the way to the party, the bus broke down for like 10 minutes. I mean, it didn't delay the boat trip, but that was not the best thing, you know? What we're saying is our struggle is sort of like your struggle. We're all the same. No, but the truth of the matter is there's a reason why life is so good. There's a reason why there's not a threat of failure. Because the Stanford Law Class of 2018 is the greatest group of psychopath overachievers ever assembled. They need no fear. Yeah, give them a round of applause. They're insane. They're insane. One person in our class is the head coach of Stanford lacrosse and a professional lacrosse player. Same dude. Not two different guys. Some people have been published in the New York Times, the Washington Post, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Stanford Law Review, the National Review. All just in the past 3 years of law school. There are people in that group sitting over there who have worked tirelessly to get people out via the Three Strikes Project here at Stanford Law School to fight against corrupt and racist laws. So give them a round of applause for that. There are people here who've argued in front of district courts and circuit courts on behalf of immigrants, on uniting families, keeping people in this country, who fought for religious liberties and religious rights, and have also fought at the Supreme Court level for whatever it is you guys deal with. You would be hard-pressed to find a more exceptional group of people than my classmates in the class of 2018. I'm very proud to be one of you. Now, of course, overachieving is not enough, because you got to be cool too. We have to live here. And Stanford prides itself on community, which is not helpful, all right? Because tons of communities are horrible. Like, for example, look at the comment section on YouTube. There are horrible people out there. But that's not this community. This community is substantially different. So I occasionally do stand-up comedy, and and one time I was in the finals of this comedy competition. And before you're impressed, bear in mind that this is a comedy club in Sunnyvale, California, that is attached to a tire store. All right? This means nothing to the world. No one should support me doing this. It's a huge waste of time. I should have been studying. However, in the final round of this competition, over 60 people in the class of 2018 came to watch me at this comedy club. That's more than a third of the class, and it's made even more amazing, it only seats 78. And relevantly, it's the way that you decide the winner of the competition is by popular vote. So I walk up there, do horribly. It's a total disaster. But I'm like, I'm still gonna win. I brought out a third of the class, come on. And I didn't win. And a few weeks back, I went to so I do that club occasionally, so I went to the club owner, I'm like, hey, how did I not win? Oh, she's like, you won by a lot. I just figured you had enough going for you. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you go to Stanford, you'll be fine. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. It's honestly pretty good. But there's other ways in which the community has been enriched. Matt Ball, what a rock star. I love this guy. By the way, I can name a billion people here. But when he was in the army, he met a guy named Kismat. And Kismat was his translator in Afghanistan. And Kismat was supposed to be able to come to the United States due to his service to the country. And due to various bureaucratic restrictions, he wasn't able to. And our classmates got together and helped Matt write letters to senators, representatives, to fight to bring him to this country, and they succeeded. I think that this is a testament to the fact that when things matter, and even when things don't matter, like at a comedy club attached to a tire store, this class and these people will always be there for you, and they will always support you, and it is such a tremendous honor to know you. There is one thing to worry about, though. There's one thing going forwards that is a problem, and that is comfort. One of the privileges you get when you attend a law school like this, with faculty like this, at an institution like this, is that there's a lot of convenient things to do. There's a lot of prestigious things to do to impress people like this. There's a lot of things to do that will make you a lot of money. But what can end up happening is that you get so comfortable taking the next logical step that you don't actually ask what it is you want out of life, what it is that you actually care about. And part of the reason for that is just risk, right? I get it. We're all facing a lot of risk. It's much more certain to take the well-paying path. It's much more certain to take the prestigious path. And it's way riskier to try to pursue something different, try to pursue your ultimate dream. It's better and easier to defer. But I argue that it's much, much riskier that in 30 years we could look back on a life spent achieving things and realize that we were failures. Not because we didn't attain our goals, but because we never even bothered trying. And so you are the most amazing collection of people I'll probably ever have the privilege of knowing. You are smart, you are driven, you're like, there's just a vibrancy to you people, and you have a vision of not only the world, but also of yourselves right now where you sit. And so if I have any request from you guys, and of course I know nothing, it's this: don't defer your dreams. Don't wait until it's more convenient. Don't try to delay thinking about it. Think about it now. And think about yourself today, the expectations that you've set for yourself, the achievements that you've made, and remember this: you are brilliant, you are capable, and when you get out into the world, you're going to have doubts. And whenever you do have those doubts, when you feel insecure or inadequate pursuing the new path, remember this: you'll always have a home here at Stanford, and you can always call one of us, your community, your friends, and your family. So do not defer your dreams, Stanford Law School. I don't think that I'll ever meet a group of people that I love as much as you guys, including my family. Just kidding. And so I wish you much more than luck. I wish you happiness, and I wish that you will fight fights worth fighting. Thank you.